Hey guys, hello and welcome to Naveed for Speed. In today's video, I am going to be driving this car right here. It's the Renault 5. Now, today's video is going to be a first impressions, a first drive video. This is literally the first time I'm in the car. So I'm going to try and explain to you a little bit about this car and how it feels to drive. My first impressions of it, because it is an exciting car. Now, the Renault 5, the 5 is a name that's been revived from the 70s and the 80s. It's just been brought forward into the modern day as an electric car. You see it with other cars like the Ford Capri. Again, that's an old name that's just been brought forward. But with this car, surprisingly enough, there's been a lot of excitement about it. I think especially after people saw the car, they thought that it looked quite retro, it looked quite exciting. So it's an exciting prospect. Now, talking about this small electric city car, car makers have been sort of doing this more recently, like cars like the BYD Dolphin Surf, Hyundai Inster. These small electric cars are starting to become a little bit more common, and it means that they are a little bit more affordable and therefore more usable and more attainable, I suppose. Honda did it with the Honda E not so long ago, but of course that didn't necessarily work out. It didn't have very good range and it cost a lot. Whereas now, these cars that we're talking about, these small electric city cars, are actually a little bit more affordable and they are quite refined, quite fun to drive. I think the technology has advanced. Now, I did drive the BYD Dolphin Surf, so I will be comparing this car a little bit to that. But otherwise, I think so far, I'm enjoying this experience. It feels well put together. It feels enjoyable to drive. I feel like it can get quite exciting when the road gets a little bit more twisty from my current first impressions. But let me tell you a little bit about this car, the Renault 5. Now, you can get this car in 4 different trim levels, and depending on which trim level you go for, you get a load of different features. So you get a load of different alloy wheel designs, 18-inch alloy wheels on these cars, and you also get these fabric seats, a load of different designs in the fabric seats, different colors as well. Now, BYD make a big point that they've got vegan leather seats in their cars, and no other cars in this class have leather seats. That is the case, of course. That is true because this car here has fabric seats, but I think they are quite comfortable. I'll tell you a little bit more about how these seats feel like when it comes to the driving experience a little bit later in this video. But for now, I just want to talk about some of the different versions of the car you get. So you can get the car with 2 different battery sizes, a 40 kilowatt hour battery and a 52 kilowatt hour battery. They each make 90 and 110 kilowatts of power, which roughly translates to about 120 horsepower or 150 horsepower. The one I have is the 52 kilowatt hour battery, so it produces 150 horsepower. Again, BYD make it a point to say that they've got the most powerful electric motor in the class with 115 kilowatts. So 5 kilowatts more than this car. Is that going to make a difference? Am I going to feel the difference? Probably not. But what this car offers, this Renault 5, is a little bit more of that French personality, a little bit more of that retro styling, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the different features in terms of styling of this car a little shortly. But for now, I want to talk about the battery sizes. So each one takes about 30 minutes to charge from 15 to 80%. And you can get, in this 52 kilowatt hour version, you can get 200 miles of range. So quite a decent amount of range. You can see where things have improved over cars like the Honda E, which only had roughly around 100 miles of range. So it is a car that can be more usable on the road. It can be more usable for different purposes, for commutes, for even longer journeys. So I think it's looking good at the moment. Let me tell you about some of the exterior and interior features, and then I'll tell you what it feels like to drive. You might have noticed that I'm doing this as a selfie style video or a POV style video. Yes, I don't have my camera person with me, but it means that we're able to explore this car together. So let me show you the exterior. And we'll start with this color because I think it looks really nice. This Renault 5, it has some really cool colors. You might have seen it in yellow, in this green. It's called pop green and pop yellow. They really do pop, and it stands out. And it just means that these cars just stand out that little bit more on the road, and it's quite quirky. Overall, the car looks quite cute as well. If you come over here at the front, you can see those little squinty headlights. It looks really nice. You can see these three rectangular features at the front over here as well, that just split this front area up nicely. I think it looks really good. Quite a retro looking car. But if we come to the side, you can see that it's not that long. It's under 4 meters long, and the wheelbase is to over 2.5 meters. So it's small, but it could be quite agile, and of course that means the interior space, legroom should be really quite good. Let's keep going towards the side, and I'll show you these alloy wheels, 18-inch alloy wheels. And now this design alloy wheels that we have on this car are for the entry-level version and this Techno version of the car as well. The higher specs will have slightly different design with slightly different colors as well, but they still do come in 18-inch wheels, and I think they do look really good. Have a look at this side, the side skirt over here. You can see this sort of stripe effect that's been going throughout the car. You can see part of the design language of the car. And actually, whilst we're here, I'll show you this over here, this feature on the bonnet, which again you can see in the stripes. It has this 5 on it, and that 5 will tell you the battery power, so how much percentage of the battery is left. You can see in the stripes, each one of those represents 20%. So currently this car has 80% charge left. You might not be able to see very well in the camera because the camera is flickering, because I don't have the correct shutter speed on, but you can see that car, how much battery power it has. Let's keep going towards the back of the car. You'll see this one is spec'd with the black roof, even though it's the Techno version. But yeah, let's come towards the back, because the back looks just as good as the front. It does look like a cool little exciting hot hatch, doesn't it? Let's come towards here. You can see these vertical headlamps over here, again with that stripe effect. That is to be aerodynamic, and you can see the boot lid with the Renault and the 5 lettering over here. So this little, you got a slight little bit of a spoiler up here, so it looks really quite good. Let me open the boot, and you can see in here, boot space, of course, charging cables. This is a car that is being used, has been used by journalists. It looks really, you know, it is being used fully. The boot space in here, 326 litres, and you can fold the seats down, and you have a little bit of space under there as well. You can see loads of little kind of like Easter eggs, like over here as well. I saw the same thing on the Renault 4 at the front of the car, which I'll very quickly show you, just over here on the windscreen. So really cool little Easter eggs, I suppose, in there. Let me show you the interior, because if you come inside here, I'll just open the door. There we are. Look at the interior. You know, you got these fabric seats, which come in different colors depending on which spec of the car you've got, and that's how you can tell. This one is the Techno version, so it's the second from the bottom, and then above that you've got other versions, and then you've even got a special edition version, which is the Roland Garros version. In the higher specs, you do get heated seats, and you get a load of other cool features. But yeah, look at this steering wheel, really chunky. Got these buttons in there, but they're not as annoying as haptic feedback buttons. You do have to actually press them. And yeah, we'll just I'll just get in so I can show you more of the interior, because you've got this fabric material on the seats, which is also over here on the dashboard with some gloss black. But crucially, that gloss black is facing downwards, so you're not going to get sun reflecting off it. There's those buttons, the physical touch buttons that you can use to adjust your climate control. Down here, wireless charging pad. This is rubber as well, so you can put keys and whatever. I mean, you can take that off if you need to. You can put keys and whatever else you need to in there, and they won't rattle and make a lot of noise. More storage space over there. Storage space down here as well. But yeah, this is the cockpit. I'll just see if I can zoom out a little bit so you get a better view of the cockpit. Yeah, you got the driver display in front of you as well. Infotainment screen over here. Let's play around with the infotainment screen a little bit, because you've got, you know, a load of, well, that's just to edit the widgets. relatively responsive. I don't know how much different functions you can control from here, but yeah, I like that it's not overly large over here. It doesn't intrude on the driving experience, but it's still, you know, within reach, so that you can use it. But yeah, I mean, this is a quite a cute, quirky, retro-looking little car. Inside here, it's a nice place to be, and I think I'm quite excited to explore more of this car. I was supposed to get this car on loan, and so I can explore it a little bit further. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that, but I will try to do that very soon. So look out for that. But yeah, let me show you what it feels like to drive. Well, I think first and foremost, very well refined. All the materials, all the different parts of the interior that I've talked about feel well put together. They feel solid. Nothing is rattly in here. It just feels nice and smooth and comfortable. And of course, you get that with the electric powertrain anyway. Let me tell you about these seats that I talked about earlier. These seats are quite cushioned, well cushioned, comfortable. They don't hug you really well, but they do curve nicely to support you, especially at the shoulder points up here. You're very well supported at the shoulder blades, so that's quite good. Steering wheel, nice chunky steering wheel in front of you, this hexagonal shaped steering wheel, rather large, nice and smooth. I don't have to readjust every time I go into a bend. It is easy to predict which way the wheels are facing. In terms of accelerating and braking and just general driving, yeah, really smooth, really easy. It can pick up speed quite well, this car, especially when you're coming out of a junction, for example, or if you are accelerating from a set of traffic lights. The electric powertrain with that torque can just instantly accelerate for you, and that's really quite good. Visibility, well, visibility out of the front, decent. Out the sides, there is this slightly chunky A-pillar in front of the driver, and obviously one on the passenger side as well. Wing mirrors are okay as well. Rear visibility, I would have liked more visibility out of the back window. It does feel a little bit narrow, but of course I can expect that with cars of this size. It was the same case with the BYD Dolphin Surf. Using the infotainment system and the climate controls and stuff is easy when you're on the go. It's not littered with, it's not all touchscreen, so it doesn't mean that you are going to distract yourself when you're driving. There are obviously touchscreen functions, but you've got physical buttons for climate control down here. You've got, wireless phone charger in the higher specs as well. So you've got a load of creature comforts that you need on a longer journey, so that's nice. Even in the higher specs, you get the heated seats and everything that you just need to make this an enjoyable drive. Now, you also, I'm talking about the infotainment system, you get Google Assistant and in there as well. So you can say, I believe it's, "Hey Google," and you can ask it a question. What is the weather like today?
Today in Skipton, it'll be cloudy, with a forecast high of 16 and a low of 11. Currently, it's 13 degrees and cloudy.
It gives you lots of information. I don't know if you could hear that on the mic, but yeah, that was pretty neat that you don't have to take your hands off the steering wheel to actually do that. You can do that with the voice assistant, and of course, more cars nowadays are starting to get that Google Assistance in there, like we saw in the Nissan Qashqai. So I think car makers are seeing what the customer, what the drivers, what the general public likes and what they use. It's a familiar system, that Google system. As I'm picking up the speed, I am hearing wind noise. Now, of course, with an electric car, you are going to hear other noises because you don't necessarily hear the internal combustion engine or the exhaust noise, for example. I am hearing wind noise. Road noise is actually very well suppressed, I suppose. I can't hear road noise as much, but I can feel the road underneath me, not as much in the steering wheel, but in the rest of the car, I can feel the road underneath me. And I think driving this car on a bit of a twistier road is quite fun. I feel like that's what these smaller city cars need. Yes, they do need to drive around the city very well. They need to maneuver in car parks, which this car could do quite well anyway, but they need that enjoyment factor, and I think that is what you get to a certain degree with this Renault 5. So I think this Renault 5, when it comes to competing with the other cars in its class, like the BYD Dolphin Surf, I think it has personality on its side, and it has, you know, that a little bit more enjoyment factor on its side, and you can fit 5 people in the car, including the driver, which is a big plus over the BYD Dolphin Surf. The boot space, 326 liters, so again, decent for a car of this size. I think with it being a smaller car, you get the added benefit of being able to maneuver it quite easily around the city, but you also get practicality in here as well. So if you're wanting a stylish car that doesn't look bland like a lot of cars nowadays are, then this is probably a car that you should look into. And if you want to, you could even go for the Alpine, the Alpine equivalent of this, which is supposedly a little bit more sportier than this. But I think if you want everything and you want it all nice and composed, and you want, you know, just something that you can rely on, then this Renault 5 might be a great car. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope I could provide you with some value. And if you do appreciate this video, then make sure to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.